Now we have Emmar Butler. Emmar describes himself as people-oriented, which means he loves working with and helping people. He currently is managing partner of My Life Sport and Social Club. Sports are important because they help people work together as a team. Sports are not only good for you, they are fun too. Welcome, Emmar.
Thank you for the introduction, Ayana. Excuse me, Miss President. I encourage you to use Twitter responsibly when you become president. And I also want to thank Mixed Staffing for creating this platform for people to feel comfortable and be able to speak to their experiences and just share their stories. So thank you to the Mixed staff as well. Just quickly, a little bit about me. Again, my name is Emmar, and I wanted to just very quickly touch on my name and where it comes from for people that don't know me. So I'm named after my Aunt Emma. She was kind of our family matriarch. She kind of handled everything pertaining to my mom's side of the family, and she was unable to have children. So my parents just put two R's on the end of Emma. And that's where I got my name from, and it's something I'm extraordinarily proud of. And she was an incredible person, and hopefully I can measure up a little bit to what my aunt was able to accomplish while she was here. And the subject I want to talk about today is going to be personal wellness and just kind of finding peace in such a difficult time in American history and world history, really. So again, my name's Emmar. I grew up in a small town, South Haven, Michigan. It's right on the coast of Lake Michigan. With where I grew up, there's a decent amount of diversity, whether it come from we had a large Latino segment that would come in the summer times and help pick the blueberries in the area. And with that, I learned very early on to kind of accept people for who they are and not treat anyone differently because of their race or how they looked or anything like that. Within my immediate family as well, I have members of the LGBTQ community, and in my extended family, my family looks like a pretty big hodgepodge of people. There's lots of different races, different sexual orientations. So I really learned early on just to treat people well and accept and celebrate diversity. And within that, within my family, I also have members of my family that are in law enforcement. And while I was being introduced, at the bottom of my photo, it said, "He is George Floyd." And that's still really, really powerful for me to read, all this time later, because I feel like a lot of us, well, hopefully everyone knows his name now, but a lot of us are familiar with these names that have been in the media recently, whether it be George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery, or I could go on and on. But for me, the first name that comes to mind when I think about police brutality and how it affected me will be Rodney King, because there was a video of him being beaten by police officers that came out in the 90s. So that was kind of my initial awakening to police brutality, and just kind of dealing with it in the sense of I was brought up to trust law enforcement and understand that they're people that are hired to protect and serve us. And that was kind of my first experience, just realizing that, hey, they make mistakes too. And there are problems within their organization as well. So when I initially learned of what happened to George Floyd, my first response was to, or I should say, my defense mechanism was to just kind of put it off. I kind of ignored it because, like I said, I've experienced, or excuse me, not personally, but I've been familiar with police brutality my whole life. So just as a way to protect myself from getting upset about seeing George Floyd's murder, I just chose to put it off. But that that has a shelf life. You can't ignore things like that. And fortunately, our country, given our situation with COVID-19, the world situation with COVID-19, I think we all had to handle this George Floyd thing, and we all had to watch him being murdered. And like David touched on earlier, hearing about police brutality is one thing, but seeing it makes it very real. And unfortunately, to this day, I still haven't been able to watch the George Floyd video, and I don't think I'll ever be able to, just with the trauma associated with that. But his death made everyone kind of deal with this thing. So when I finally did process it, that kind of allowed my emotional floodgates to be opened. I spent a lot of time being angry, frustrated, spent a lot of time being, feeling heartbroken about everything that was happening. I wasn't sleeping well. It started to manifest in a lot of different ways. So, excuse me. So just dealing with all those emotions and trying to find a way to process things and to be okay. In the midst of all of this, I fortunately had some friends that got engaged. So with their engagement, they invited me up north to come spend a little bit of time with them. And this was the same week that we had the riots here in Grand Rapids. We had a peaceful protest that Chief Payne took part in. And as that was occurring, I felt really, despite all the hurt I was feeling, I was feeling really encouraged. And I felt like I wanted to remain a part of the movement that we had going on. So a little bit of what I was feeling was guilt from just going and spending time with my friends and celebrating their engagement. I felt a little bit guilty just trying to find some joy in such a difficult time. And fortunately, I have some great friends. I have some great family. And my best friend said, and this really stuck out to me. He said, "The struggle will still be here when you get back." And when he said that, it kind of allowed me to explore being able to find wellness in this difficult time. So I was able to go up north with my friends. Just the four of us initially. We just got to spend time talking to each other, laughing, crying, and I thought it was really important to spend time with loved ones. Some of the things I was also able to do, we got to exercise together. That was very fulfilling. We went hiking, we went kayaking. Just finding things that made me happy, that were fulfilling to myself, that I was doing with others. But I also am grateful for my friends that they allowed me some time to just do something by myself. So they let me go off, and that's kind of what I want to speak to today. It's great to find personal, or excuse me, it's great to do activities with friends and family members that are fulfilling and invigorating. But I think it's important that all of us be able to find some personal wellness and carve out time for yourself and do activities that don't necessarily involve anyone else. For me, it was I spent a little bit of time meditating. I spent a little bit of time listening to music by myself. I spent a little bit of time reading scriptures, reading books, and I understand that not everyone has that type of time every day to carve out, a lot of time for themselves. But I think it's very important that even if it's 5 minutes, just find something that you personally like to do that doesn't involve anyone else, that's fulfilling to yourself. Because I think it's difficult to fulfill others if you yourself are empty. Um, I'll end things by saying, allow some grace for yourself. Uh, find your personal peace, whatever that may be, and if you're in a position, offer that peace to others.
Thank you, Emmar. We really appreciate that. A question that came in is, as a managing partner of a business, what steps are you taking to make sure diversity is included in what you do?
That is a great question. One part of that, a major part of that, I'm very proud of the organization I work with, My Life Sport and Social Club. I'm actually wearing our season's T-shirts, and it's backwards, but it says equality, and that's that. Fortunately, that comes from leadership. It was important to us that, within our leagues, diversity is just kind of built in because, as Ayana touched on earlier, sports are a great thing to help bring people together. And specifically within our organization, we want to be welcoming to all people. It's important to us that all people are not only represented but feel comfortable when they're playing sports in our leagues. And and on top of trying to remain responsible and do everything we can do COVID-19 related to help keep our players safe, it's a big deal to us that everyone is seen and treated as equals, and diversity is respected and celebrated within our community and within our organization.
Very good. Thanks, Emmar. We appreciate that. Ayana, would you like to introduce our final speaker, Mr. Andre Pillow?
Yes.
I came across a quote the other day, and I really loved it, and I wanted to share this with everyone. It said, "Be forgiving of your past self, be firm with your present self, and be flexible with your future self." And that was huge for me. And as it relates to personal wellness, and given the climate that we're in America right now, if you haven't done very much right now to contribute to the change that you'd like to see, to Black Lives Matter, to all the movements that are occurring in America today, that's okay. But my call to action would be the time to do nothing is over. Not everyone needs to be on the front lines, with speaking or using Facebook to or any platform they have. Not everyone is built to be on the front lines, but you have to find some way to contribute. Reach out to people you trust. Be honest with yourself about your feelings and emotions, and if you encounter something within yourself that you don't necessarily like, as I mentioned, be firm with yourself, but be flexible with your future self. I'll leave it with that. Just make sure you're doing what you can to spread love and being a part of the change you'd like to see.
Awesome. Javar, I see you unmuted yourself. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Make sure you speak up.
Okay, yeah. My closing remarks will be, let's